What was your A-level business studies like before you started tutoring with Academic Plus?
I would say I noticed my progress started going down in year 13 when we started to do those essays and those long answer questions. So before I obviously started getting tutored, there are basically two business classes in my year and we each had the same teacher. So I felt like I wasn't really getting the help that I needed. And in my other subjects, biology and chemistry, my teachers were really pushing me to achieve my grades, but I wasn't feeling like my business teacher was doing that. She just kind of left us to do our own thing. And even when I wanted her to mark, for example, my 25 markers, she wouldn't really do this because she already had a lot on her plate. So even though I knew I wasn't quite strong at these essays, I didn't really have anyone who could help me to kind of push me further and get those higher marks in these essays. So that's why I obviously chose to get a tutor at that point.
And you mentioned about you were struggling obviously with your progress. What was your progress in A-level business before you did start the tutoring?
So obviously I said I was doing quite well in year 12, but then I would say it kind of like plummeted in year 13. So we only had one set of mocks that were actually marked before our actual A-level exam, and that was in January of year 13. And that wasn't any short answer questions, it was just essays. And I got a C in that, and that was when I really knew that I kind of had to get some extra help at that point.
So you got a C in your January mocks. Tell
Yeah.
me, how did results day go?
I got an A. I was quite close to an A star as well on results day, so nearly. But yeah, I got an A.
And how did you feel going from that C in the January mocks to the A grade on results day?
I was really, really surprised because I know that business isn't a subject that you can pick up quite easily. It takes time to be able to get the essay technique down, and there's so much content. I would say it was definitely one of the most content heavy subjects that I took, even out of biology and chemistry. So for me to jump up 2 grades in a matter of a couple months, and to be able to go from getting around 9 on my essays to when Julie would mark my essays and give me 20 out of 25, it was really, really happy for me to see the progress I made.
Tell me a bit more about your experience with Julia and then with the group sessions as well with myself.
Yeah, so with Julia, I really appreciated how she kind of knew the AQA specification like off the back of her hand, which is something that I didn't really quite get from my teacher because she was new in my school and previously she had taught EdXL. So I felt like she didn't really know exactly what the AQA examiners were kind of looking for, which is really what Julia knew. So whenever I would give her a 25 marker, she would go through the specific marking points with me and tell me if I was in band 3 or band 2 and tell me how to get into those higher bands for the higher marks. So that's what I really appreciated. And she kind of let me lead the lesson. So before the lesson, she would ask me what I would want to do, if I wanted to focus on maybe long answer questions or maybe to go through a couple multiple choice. So I really appreciated how she let me identify my weaknesses and then she would work through them with me. And then obviously with the group sessions with you, I thought these were really, really helpful because I think I find it quite helpful kind of bouncing off other students, because obviously someone who's a specialist in the subject like you can tell me something, but I think sometimes it even helps having someone my age even explain something that I didn't quite understand, because they might explain it a bit easier or they might know something extra specification which I could have used in my exam. So it was really, really helpful.
And with the entire tutoring service itself, what did you like the most about it?
I think what I liked the most on the website was that you had something, videos for each specific thing. So I knew what I like to do when I study is I like to have the specification open on one screen and then obviously my notes on another. And you had like a checkbox for each point of the specification and videos for that. So I found that really helpful because I think what a lot of students don't do is that they don't use a specification at all. So they don't actually know exactly what they need to know, because if you have that, then you know what's coming up in the exam basically, and you're not looking at anything extra, which is what I found the textbook. They just put a lot of extra stuff in there. So by you just kind of having the checkbox, and I could see my progress. So when I was 80% completed the course or nearly 100% completed the course, then I knew that basically I had all the content down, and that allowed me to just, leading up to the exam, focus on the long answer questions.
What would you tell someone who is considering working with Academic Plus for tutoring for A-level business?
I would definitely tell them to go for it. In January, I really wasn't confident in my skills at all. I was at quite a low point because I considered business as one of my safe subjects. So I always thought that I would be flying through and get an A at the end. But me deciding to go and use Academic Plus for tutoring was definitely one of the best decisions, because I don't think I would have been able to come out with as high as a grade I did if I didn't, because I was one of the only people, I think, in my year out of 60 people who got an A. I think everyone ended up with C's and D's. So yeah, I think it was definitely the best decision.